As we've seen, Mental Ray Arch and Design has many great options and a lot of stuff to play with, and it's a monolithic shader that will do almost anything. However, sometimes it's too much information to have to sift through, and if you just want to get some materials applied quickly and easily, you might opt to use the 3ds Max Pro materials instead. And these are Mental Ray shaders that are specifically designed for a particular type of material, such as glass or concrete or what have you. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a Pro material and assign it to some of these objects here. So let's start with a Pro material of solid glass and see what we get with that. I'm going to call this Pro Glass and convert this standard material into a Pro material. So again, each one of these Pro materials is specifically designed to achieve a certain effect. So we've got solid glass. I'll turn on the background so we can see it in the sample slot. And I'll go ahead and assign that to my cube. Let's do a region render of that and see what the solid glass Pro material looks like. Now this particular object is actually about 18 inches on the side and solid, so that's a solid cube of glass. We've got the color transmittance here, which will determine the color of the fog inside the glass. So for example, I can choose green if I want green glass. Click render, and now you'll see we're getting a green tint. We can control the density of the fog through this reference thickness parameter. And that's the same as the max distance parameter in the advanced rendering options rollout of the Arch and Design shader. If we set this to 3 feet, then we won't see much of an effect because it won't reach the full density. If I reduce the thickness to, let's say, an inch, then we'll see a much stronger effect to the tint. In fact, so strong that it's almost opaque. You'll notice we're getting an interesting effect here around the edges where it's almost transparent there. So we can adjust this to different values to get different effects, back to 6 inches there. We can also play around with custom colors. So instead of just these default colors, we can go and choose a custom color and plug in whatever we want. So if I want to have a much more saturated green, I can choose that. You notice then now it's looking very, very thick. So we might want to increase this to, let's say, 18 inches to control the look. One handy option of the Pro materials is that they have material parameters built in to allow you to vary the surface. So for example, we have surface roughness and surface imperfections. So we can play around with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get in closer so we can see this more clearly, because those surface imperfections are pretty small. So here I'm going to choose, we have rippled or wavy, or we could put a custom map in there as well. Go back to my rendered frame window and I'll do a full view render. So we can see with just a few mouse clicks we'll get pretty good results with this green glass, and we've got some surface imperfections on there too. One thing you do want to watch out for with these Pro materials is some of them do actually create links to external bitmaps, just like the Arch and Design templates do. And ironically, those are not displayed in the interface. In other words, the Pro materials make reference to bitmaps, and you can't see that that's happening in the material editor. So be very cautious about that, because Pro materials could cause you grief if you update to a new version of 3ds Max. Your materials might actually change. So if you want to protect yourself from that, stick with Arch and Design. If you want to go fast and loose and take your chances, then play around with Pro materials. They are quick and easy, and in most cases they don't use bitmaps, but in some cases they do. So just a warning on that one. So that's how you use Pro materials with Mental Ray and 3ds Max.